the benefits of the big, beautiful bill will outweigh any negativity?
I don't think it's going to add to the national debt. I mean, the experts have been wrong for the last 50 years, and like right now, we have this big deficit right now, and so as far as them giving advice, I don't concur with their advice.
The end result, they think we're going to be in a better place, and then we'll see the reduction at that point.
It'll accomplish a lot. It'll bring thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs back to the country.
Republicans are committed to a safe and prosperous America. And that's what this bill does. It provides for safety as well as prosperity for the American people. We shared with the president the fact that the American people trust Republicans much more on the economy than they do the Democrats. And this bill does what the American people want us to do.
First, that was voters across the nation weighing in, saying yes to the Senate. Please pass the big, beautiful bill now. And that was Republican Senator John Barrasso saying the big, beautiful bill will deliver a safer and more prosperous America. Joining us now, O'Leary Ventures Chair and Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. Kevin, we love having you on. It's good to see you. So what do you make of all this? We got Senate Finance Chair Mike Crapo warning that there are likely 2 no votes against it. Senator Rand Paul and Ron Johnson over spending. Just one more defection there could derail it. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, Ron Johnson put out a graph a couple of days ago, a chart, very simple chart, simply says, look, even during Trump's first term, deficits were under $1 trillion. Then we have this pandemic, and every administration and every budget post the pandemic have been $2 trillion plus deficits. Why? That's just a simple question. Why? And I think he's getting a little traction with that. That's what got Elon fired off. He looked at that chart, too, and said, wait a second, why do we have to spend $2 trillion more than we need to? So what Johnson wants to do is split the bill in half, get the tax cuts in on time by July 4 that are required to keep small business and large business humming, keep the economy going, which is doing quite well, and then work on this deficit reduction thing separately. And that's really the raging debate that's going on right now in the Senate. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, here's the problem. They're trying to get it done with a simple majority vote on the budget reconciliation. If you split it up, then you face Chuck Schumer and a filibuster with 60 votes. But we hear you on that. We understand exactly what you're saying, Kevin, about getting the tax cuts done, because Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warns everyone, all income classes, face a massive tax hike if it doesn't get done. Now, Kevin, the thing is, the coverage of this has been way off. The bill stops a massive tax increase. It's not about the tax cuts it's already about letting the tax cut last and not expire. It's not about, tax cuts, more of that. But let's talk about how the scorekeeper, the CBO, gets it wrong. The CBO wrongly assumed nothing's going to happen if the tax cuts expire. The economy will be okay, no jobs lost. We're seeing analysis that could cause a recession, throw people out of work if the tax cuts expire. What do you think?
The big issue with the CBOE is what growth rate you assume for the next 10 years in scoring this budget. And so they have a 1.8% growth rate on the economy. For 20 years, we've had at least 2%. But some senators, and I am in their camp, say, look, the American economy, if set up right with the right tax structure, can be very competitive and maybe move to 2.5% to 3%. Now, those are huge differences in assumptions. And so if you say 1.8%, and that's all the economy is going to do for the next decade, sure, you're going to score it in a very conservative light. And I take issue with that. I mean, that is not what you would do in business. That's not what a corporation does. They don't assume no growth or benign growth. 1.8% is really, really weak.
That's really weak. And Kevin, so there's probably going to be 3 to 4% growth because, the Trump tax cuts did pay for themselves. The CBO was wrong on that in 2017. As you point out, they didn't account for the extra economic growth of them, along with Trump's energy policies and deregulation. But we got to get to this, Kevin. The CBO was way off on Obamacare. It said Obamacare would increase the number of people on Medicaid by 16 million. Kevin, the number is more than twice that. 34 million went on that. The CBO also predicted 24 million would get insurance through the Obamacare exchange, which just 14 million did. So more people went on Medicaid. The CBO's been really way off on that.
Yeah, listen, they've had a lot of variance, no question about it. The bill also has some tweaking that's going on right now, probably a lot of it done by next Friday. One of the tweaks that's being worked on that's freaked out a lot of senators is this idea of empowering the IRS to audit businesses for 9 years that took ERC tax credits. that's a non-starter. So I'm sure they're going to work on that language. There's a lot of little things going on here. But you're right. The overriding issue is how to score the CBOE. How do you work with forecasts a decade out?
Kevin O'Leary, you're wonderful. Thanks for joining us.